I love this beat. I just never get tired of it. I don't know why. Welcome to Negro Please. I'm Dallas Scott, Hollywood Huff, Natalia. Are we just going to be Natalia H?
Natalia Hernandez.
Okay, we're going to use the whole name.
Yep.
Trina's back. And of course, Quan, the 5'9", our super producer over here. Let's just start. Let's get the comedy out of the way. Does anybody believe Donald Trump actually had COVID or has COVID? He's on his way home. Like, they released him from the hospital today after three.
Wait. And the hospital that had, what, 6 bedroom suite with a whole kitchen center? Like,
right.
everything?
That's Walter Reed.
Why do these even exist is my first question.
For presidents and vice presidents and senators
You're
and
still
Congress.
sick. You need an entourage of six people staying with you? I don't understand.
Yeah.
6 people to give COVID to in the hospital.
Exactly. Okay, now we have 12 new patients.
Yep. It's all bad.
Yeah. How about those, like, the Secret Service guys, like, can't even go home to their wives now, right? They got to be quarantined for 14 days.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
The whole White House is on quarantine now, huh?
There's 30 of them.
Everybody but Trump, who is going to be, I'm actually mad because I lost a bet because I set the over-under at 3 days and it was 4. So, like, I'm out $40 on this, but.
You don't think he had it?
No, I don't.
Here's the thing. Either they're lying or there's some medicine out there that they're holding back.
Right.
Either one of these conspiracies is true. It could be true. This is America we talking about.
I just feel like they don't want him in another debate.
Ooh.
I feel like
it's definitely a good strategy because it was a nightmare.
The
debate was
a
disaster.
Nobody won that debate.
No.
We're all dumber for watching it.
That is not true. SNL won the debate.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
SNL has had some years where it wasn't so great, but their political commentary has always been on point.
Yes.
And what they did this weekend was so Jim Carrey as Joe Biden was pure comic genius.
Yeah.
Like somebody else said, it was like a little bit of Fire Marshal Bill and a little,
Yes.
yes. So like I was like, it was so good. Like
and
he even did
Maya
that little
Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph came out as Kamala Harris.
Yeah, so
like,
good.
she put him in their place.
Yeah, she
talking
did.
about they need a WAP for president.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, a woman as
president.
Let's make a remake. Somebody take out the video cameras now. We're gonna create the best music video. I'm in.
That would actually. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody actually did that by the end of the week. Like,
oh no, that's gonna be merch.
Today.
That's merch. That is Kamala's merch. Now. Woman is president.
And I'm buying all of it.
Yeah.
And she might be in a year and a half because if somehow Biden wins, he may not be alive that long. Like,
he's up there.
Think about
that.
that.
I do want to ask, what do you think that the idea behind Trump catching COVID? What's the pros to him not actually getting it but telling everybody he does? What do you think
he doesn't have to be in he can't do another debate.
Okay.
It gets people stop talking about the fact that he only paid $750 taxes 2 times over like a 10-year span.
Right.
It
So
gets
it's all deflection.
Yes.
Okay.
It gets people his side going, oh, poor president. He got attacked by the hoax. Like,
and now he supposedly beat it. So look how strong
he is. Right.
He's older, but he's still strong. He can still, you know.
He's sent by God. It's funny because I saw somebody on Facebook. Oh, all you Democrats are wishing Trump ill will and blah blah blah. But I was like, did you comment at all when Trump said for the Proud Boys to stand by and stand back?
Yeah.
Which I'm loving the whole takeover now.
Stand back.
So,
stand back.
I don't know if you guys seen this. So
you guys get it.
Gay America has taken over.
Shout out to the LGBTQ community. They taking one for the team on this one.
Go to our Facebook page at The Negro Please, and you'll see the greatest. It's a group of hairy gay men dressed as Wonder Woman, calling themselves the Proud Boys. It is so.
They're such cute bears. They're so awesome.
It is
so
awesome.
Love it.
But I think Trump is like the soldier boy of Instagram for politicians. Like he's all cap. It's all nonsense. Like everything he's doing is just for show. Because they did you guys see that they took the pictures that he posted? He posted 2 pictures, and when you do the like geotag or whatever, they were only taken 10 minutes apart. So he's like in the same outfit, in the same, and then he's signing a blank piece of paper with a Sharpie. It's like, bro, just lay down and put on some pajamas. Like, come on.
And then there's look at our stoic president in the face of coronavirus. He's signing
the Bow Wow challenge.
And I've never seen. The thing is like, I don't care if you love Trump or hate him. The fact is, the dude is so narcissistic. He's so look at me, look at me, look at me. That if he really has this disease that has obviously like taken lives, whether it's 1 or 100,000, whatever they say the number is, go lay down, bro. Why are you doing?
Right.
He's not. The thing is, he's not even doing anything. He's just doing something so he can say, "Look what I'm doing."
Right.
The Bow Wow challenge.
Bro, you've done enough. You're the president. Go take a nap. Nobody. Look, everybody's already decided who they're voting for. Nobody's gonna say, you know what, I was gonna vote for Trump, but he caught that COVID and then he went and took a nap. Like, he stopped. he just stopped signing papers, man. Like, I don't know.
Speaking of stop signing, though, but like Mitch McConnell, they're not gonna vote on anything in the Senate except for Supreme Court. So the stimulus package that the House just passed last week, 2 days ago, the Senate's not gonna vote on it till after the election, but they're gonna vote to see the Amy dumbass into the Supreme Court.
The Handmaid's Tale.
Yes.
I can't with that.
Like, it just,
come on.
Yeah.
You're gonna put the whole world, rest of the country on hold.
But
the most important decision we're just gonna make right now, while we put everything else, and because we're just gonna like rush it through and pick somebody. Who cares? Who knows? No big deal.
that event was the super spreader now. The Rose Garden, that's the gift that keeps on giving. Every day you look at a new person from the crew, and what's her name? Claudia Kellyanne Ray's daughter outed her mom for having it.
Everybody in there got the cooties.
She's a hero.
I love her daughter.
bad
Like
self.
her daughter is going to be like fast track the politicianist hood, and she's going. I'm just making up words here.
No, but I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But she's going to like.
She's going to be a force.
She's too young right now, but like she's very. I mean, to put your parents on blast like she did
all
like,
the time.
Yes, is. It's awesome though. Like, I mean, like
she put them both in blast.
Oh yeah, no. She went after both of them.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
She wants to be emancipated, and she's just like, my parents are stupid.
I saw some of the mom content. I didn't see both.
It's been much heavier on the dad, but she originally on the mom, but she put the dad on blast when she first came out.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's that white people stuff.
We did talk about this culturally
if it was a black daughter, hey, she'd be locked up right now. Nobody know what that girl was saying.
And just to keep being racist here,
stupid.
I'm bringing this up because Steve said this is the whitest thing he's ever seen, and that is these California sheriff's deputies. This is just amazing. Officer Bryce Richard Simpson, and who's 31, and Joseph Anthony Atkinson Jr., who is 39. They got in trouble. They're being essentially they were making up evidence, and making illegal evidence in cases, and they had to go and testify in front of the grand jury. And they told the grand jury that they did not know it was illegal to falsify evidence on a police report.
Now, sir, you're a cop.
There is no whiter thing you can say besides, I didn't know I couldn't do that. That's the whitest statement
I was gonna say,
you could ever make in your life.
I use this line all the time. Because like, oh, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. If I could change it, I would. I would go back and do something differently. If only I'd known, been more educated, had better understanding.
Whether you knew or not.
And then everybody's like, oh, she's clearly apologetic, sincere. It won't happen again. And then, if you do it again, your ass is on fire. Right. But you can always get one through like that. And these guys got one through.
You know what happens when black people say it? Ignorance is no excuse, brother.
I was just saying, so like, the thing that I think about, like, whenever I hear, especially cops say this, I think about way back when I had to take driver's ed, and our driver's ed teacher was talking about ignorance is no excuse for the law.
Right.
So, like, it's I was going 65 and a 35, but I didn't know it was a 35. You getting that ticket.
Yeah.
You don't get that, well, I didn't know. No, you don't. That doesn't happen.
You mean to tell me nowhere in police academy or sheriff's academy or whatever, nobody said, hey guys, if you lie on your police report, XYZ will happen to you. You mean they never heard that anywhere in their careers? Really?
Not.
Don't they get sworn in?
Yes.
Don't they do that? I tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
Something to that extent,
You know what this is? This has got to be a legal strategy to get them out of whatever recourse is coming.
But
like their lawyer is telling them play dumb.
Right.
Oh,
that's what I think.
No, it has to be, right? Because you can't just
come on.
You can't, and the grand jury can't be that stupid to believe that you didn't know.
Exactly.
Right.
Like you're a police.
And here's the problem though with this is that so they got caught falsifying evidence on these. I believe it was 2 cases. How many cases have they worked where people are in prison right now?
Yep.
The state of California is going to be fighting this for the next 15 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Every case.
any lawyer that just graduated law school yesterday is going to be jumping on these cases for people who were convicted for cases these guys were to be like, nope, we already know they falsified evidence. And all those, either the judges are going to throw them out and let the people out of jail, or they're going to have to retry all of those cases. And we don't know how many cases they've worked on over the years.
I would love to know that number.
Yeah.
Just a few more bad apples.
How many bad apples do you have before you realize you got a whole bag of rotten apples?
Exactly.
Apparently a lot.
Yeah.
Apparently.
But there's 17 total deputies that are being charged with this.
17?
17. Those are just the
But
first two.
why is anybody surprised that cops lie on police reports? Like, who is going to tell a cop if this is a lie or not? They just take their word for it.
Us colored folks ain't surprised.
Right.
I'm shocked.
Trust me.
You of all people aren't shocked because you got arrested for something that somebody said that wasn't true on a police report.
I remember I got my world rocked when a police officer said that I hit him, maliciously punched him in the face, and that just didn't happen, and everybody believed him. And I was like, excuse me, I'm telling the truth here. This did not happen. And nobody except for my lawyer was on my side. I was like, how is this actually possible that somebody, and like prior to this, I was raised where you see a police officer, they are safety. They will help you. If you are lost, if you are hurt, if you are in trouble, go to a police officer.
I was never told.
I remember being lost once.
Don't call the police.
See, that's crazy to me because that's my first phone call. And then after this whole exchange happened where I wasn't believed and they just got to say whatever, I hold my breath near police officers. I don't want to be anywhere near them. Like, you can just say whatever you want and I fall victim. Yeah, yes. Trina got woke real quick around 21.
Yes, that's essentially what happens is that, oh, well, they're officers of the law, so they must be telling the truth. So their word is worth more than a crackhead's when you go to court, even though the crackhead is probably telling the truth. Like,
right. But this is what I don't get. You have to be a lawyer for 8 years and go to school and pass the bar to defend somebody that's charged with something. But the people who are doing the charging don't take the same education and don't have the level of skill. So it's not even fair. It should be opposite. It should be somebody skilled in the law charging you, not like people who don't even know what your rights are.
The police, the average police academy in this country is like 6 months.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And most of it is physical training. Am I not wrong?
Right.
It's not compassion or...
And like there are states like Minnesota requires you, I think, to have at least a 2-year degree before you can become a police officer.
But
and
what's a 2-year degree look like? Nothing these days.
Yeah,
exactly.
It doesn't teach you anything about police work.
No, right. It is.
Yeah.
And there are a few states that require a little more, but the majority of states are like. I think my brother was in the police academy. I want to say it was like 21 weeks. When he went to the police academy, it wasn't like, and like you said, the most of it, or a huge part of it, was self-defense,
right?
You know, and like,
physicality.
Yes, being stunned with a taser. Like, there's not a whole lot of practical
law.
Not even law, but practical practice, like things that you're going to run into. Eric Kelly, who's been on the show several times, has told us that like all of his practical experience essentially came from being trained in the line of duty.
So you get the basic police training, right? And then once you become a cop, most of the training they get outside of that is optional. So it's, do you want to be a better cop? Well, you go get better training, right? You know, it's any other field. Like even if you're a dealer, right? You pass an audition and woo, I made it, right? But if you want to get good at dealing other games, right? You know, you have to go to other classes or get somebody to teach you or do something else. You know, like most police officers, they don't learn like jujitsu or anything in the police academy. They have to go and get training for that, you know, on their own dime, their own time, you know, all of that. So it's so much, not just even with physical stuff, but with the law. They learn like the basics and they learn 10 codes and different things so they can communicate on the radio. Those are the things they're learning in police academy. You know what I mean? So a lot of times it's not even that the police is purposefully breaking the law when he's doing something to you that he shouldn't be doing. He probably doesn't even know he can't do that. You know what I'm saying? He himself, and he doesn't find out till later when you and your lawyer show up. You know what I mean? And
later it's too late.
Exactly.
For a lot of people,
for a lot of people,
very
for a lot of people, yeah. So, you know,
I really appreciate, like I've been seeing up on Facebook and a few other groups, correct me for the name, but they're sending out a group of people to be first responders who aren't police officers to mitigate and to, negotiate back and forth the scenarios that might be occurring with homeless people, with, domestic violence, X, Y, and Z, where you don't need somebody with a gun there. You don't need somebody who's trying to press charges or trying to put somebody in a cop car behind bars. You need someone there to mitigate the situation and to talk it out and figure out what's going on and how we can help and move forward to help everybody involved in this situation.
Right.
I've been seeing a lot more of that present, and I'm appreciating. I think that's a great tool that should be used more often now.
And that's what defunding the police means,
I was just going to say, and that's like that buzzword. Now you're going to trigger everybody. But it is what it is. It's defunding the police.
It's not having less police. It's not firing police. It's making sure that we take that money and put it to somewhere where maybe we can save lives, right? We can get people help. We can do things to better the community. We can take some of that money and put it towards a youth education program or something like that, or somewhere other than kids going to jail or people being arrested for
tutoring.
Yes.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it look different instead of, the being on two sides where it's defund the police and the police are angry and the public want different things? What if it happened to look like where the police were like, hey, we want to create a group, we're going to take some of our money, create a group subpart to the police that is then going to enhance our community. It's going to work. We're going to put these people on the front line when we see certain calls.
Isn't that the police athletic league or whatever?
It's unfortunate. I'm just saying it's unfortunate that it doesn't look like that. And once again, we have a solution to a problem that now we all feel a certain way about because we're on opposite sides of it, where if we could just look at this as a whole, you're being helped, we're being helped, this isn't an argumentative thing.
We don't want to help us. We want to help me.
Okay.
Right.
Like we're that society where like, but what about me?
Right.
You're
America.
What? I'm only going to get a 7% raise instead of a 10% raise because we have to defund the police now?
Right.
Like my overtime is only going to be $48 an hour, not $57.
And that's the thing, because granted, there are some situations where I still feel like, you know what, if they're having an issue, the police need to show up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
absolutely,
there are a lot of situations where maybe it's not the police, maybe it's a peacekeeping organization. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Look, this call it's nonviolent. It's, my cat's stuck up in a tree. We don't need to bother the firemen. We don't need to bother the police. Send out the peacekeeper. You know what I mean? All the calls. Because,
I like that name.
Because
peacekeeper. I like that. That is that's
that
sexy.
feels good.
Yeah.
I just made that up right now. I mean, but no, like, so I had an issue where it was like a week after 4th of July, which was the problem. Neighbors still shooting off fireworks, right?
Gee.
Well, one came like at my wife and daughter, like, and blew up, within a few feet of them, right?
Oh my goodness.
So if I go out there, somebody might get shot. I don't want it to escalate there, right?
Yeah.
So seriously, because what am I going to do? I'm not going to go out there and go, excuse me, sir. No, I'm about to start yelling. You know what I mean? Like, what is wrong with y'all? Whatever.
You see my wife and kid?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I calm down. I'm like, and I asked my wife, I said, okay, I'll call the police because they need to quit. I'm sick of hearing this noise anyway, right? I call 311, not 911, the non-emergency number, because it's not an emergency. But here's the thing. They're going to get police to come because there's nobody else. Right. But if the police are busy, guess what happens? Nobody shows up because it's not an emergency. They never showed up, right? No, nobody ever showed up. Those guys end up going in the house. They probably saw what happened and were like, let me just go in the house before, you know what I mean? She gets her husband out here, you know what I mean? So, but they never showed up. But the thing is, if there's an organization or if there's a group of people, or if there's someone, non-emergency call, non-violent, you know what I mean? Now we can send someone out to at least talk to the people, say what's up. Hey, you guys can't be out here, shooting off fireworks, whatever. Then if that escalates, now get the guys with the guns out here. You know what I mean? Get the guys with tasers out. We're just, it's a peaceful situation.
I'm not even saying
Let's
that
keep
the person
it that way,
that comes for their first thing can't have a gun and be protected. But at the same point, their mentality has to be different,
That's the problem is the non-compassion. They're so black and white. They're not trained to be empathetic, and a lot of times people just need empathy, and if they could treat them with empathy, it wouldn't escalate.
And we see so many of these cases with mental illness, right?
Yes.
Where like they go straight from zero to brute force and death, when in reality all this person needed was somebody who was trained in mental health, who knew how to talk to people,
calm, steady voice,
how to deal with people in different situations, and understood that people with these mental health issues are going to act like this,
Right.
and there's a better way than to shoot them,
Right.
and that's what we need, right?
Yeah,
Like
everybody acting strange isn't trying to cover up for the crime they just committed.
Right.
Sometimes people are acting strange because they're a strange person.
And they need
because
help.
mentally something is off, right?
But it's not even that, because look, there's a new case today. Jonathan Price, I believe the gentleman's name. He saw a physical fight. He was out somewhere. He intervened in the fight, trying to break it up and be a good Samaritan. And the cops came and killed him.
same as
And he was being a good Samaritan. And he supposedly, from social media posts, I don't know, whatever, I saw a bunch of posts. They say he was a Trump supporter and he was a Blue Lives Matter guy. He was black, but he still got killed by the cops, even trying to do the right thing and help them out before. It's like it's the cops' mentality.
Unfortunately, when they enter a situation, they are trained to be on the offensive.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm entering.
Right.
I don't know who I'm coming in contact. I need to protect myself and the people I am here with. And unfortunately, that's not the mentality you need every call.
I understand that mentality, because there's a lot of times when you don't know what you're walking into.
Right,
you don't.
Like Eric Kelly talks a lot about, like, the worst thing you could ever walk into is a domestic violence situation, because they're already on edge, and then you never know what the person who's being beat is going to do when you try to take the person who was committing the violence out of the house.
Right.
And he talks about he tells a story sometimes about a partner of his that actually, I don't remember if he said she got shot or stabbed by a woman. They come into the house and they try to separate the man and the woman.
Yeah.
So Eric's got the guy over here.
Yeah.
The partner takes the woman into the kitchen.
Yep.
She goes ballistic because they have her man over here. And I think he said that, she stabbed him or slashed him with a knife or something to that extent.
Yeah. They were about to take. I think they were going to take the husband to jail or something.
Right.
And she was like, no, and went and stabbed him.
Right.
Yeah.
And even last week he talked about all the women that are oh, I got to have him out by Monday because he has to go to work. And if he doesn't go to work, he's going to beat my ass again.
Even on that show, P Valley, I know I told you guys about it. There's an episode towards the end, if you watch it, sorry, spoiler alert, but one of the girls.
Anything that's been out more than a week there's no spoiler
right,
alert.
exactly.
I like that. I like that
Miss
rule.
Mississippi, who's the star stripper, she's the next in line to take over the strip club. She's in a very abusive, toxic relationship, very domestic. She shows up to the club with bruises, and the girls help her out. But her husband came and started being abusive and fighting with the bouncer. And she took the gun from the bouncer and tried to shoot the bouncer, even though her husband, who was white on the show, was calling her and the bouncer the N-word. Wow. And being and she protected her husband who beat her ass. Because of it's that whole
domestic
it's
violence.
a very complicated, complex
Toxic.
issue. Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying.
But he loves me.
I believe that we have people on the police force and in all these offices and unions and whatever, where they can make decisions and decide, okay, these type of calls, the police still have to go, because like domestic violence, more than likely than not, they're going to get violent or something crazy is going to happen. You don't need some peacekeeper, untrained person to show up. You know what I mean? Trying to be nice, asking questions. You need the police there to show up, right?
And 911 should be able to navigate those calls very easily. 911, what's your emergency? Let me hear it. Okay, let me dispatch. And I have real police. I have real police on standby. So, you send out your peacekeeper gets there and realizes this is above my pay grade.
Right, yeah.
Real
I'm out.
Great. We've got your closest dispatch already on wait. You know what I mean?
It's that easy. I mean, we do
Should be.
We do it in casinos. What do you think the security guards are for?
Exactly.
When it all hits the fan, they call the police.
Yep.
Right.
But see,
Most of them don't have guns.
Right.
That's why we all got to vote. Because all these types of little things end up on the ballot in some way, shape, or form.
Ooh.
Man, I could take this conversation 3 different ways right now.
Hey,
and,
yo.
let's say in California. Let's go to Beverly Hills. All right. There's this gentleman, but I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. His name is Saleh Bemberry. He's in Beverly Hills. He jaywalks.
Oh, the Versace guy.
Yes. He is the vice president of sneaker and men's footwear for Versace. So this is a black dude. I gotta believe he's probably nice 6 figures, right? At least maybe 7, maybe 7. He's Versace.
He's dressed down to Versace to the socks.
I'm mad because he can just walk into the other office and grab some clothes and not have to pay for $20,000 for that outfit.
It's fine.
But he's in Beverly Hills. He jaywalks, which he admits to doing. He's like, yes, I was in my phone. I shouldn't have jaywalked. Is jaywalking worth being searched by the police because they think you have a weapon, being put into handcuffs for the police safety? We're talking about jaywalking.
Right.
There's no violence in jaywalking whatsoever. I cannot find a V in that scenario.
Well, I could find a B in it.
Hey, yeah.
And I seen on social media that supposedly, and this is just social media banter, that the Beverly Hills Police Department are targeting people of color on, you know, I don't know what the name of the street is that they're shopping on over there, but supposedly, and there was a video today of cops stopping a couple on e-scooters. You know, how you can rent those little scooters, and the guy didn't have his ID on him because they're like on vacation. They got on a bathing suit, like they're just, you know, riding around having fun. And the cops, it ended up, I watched a whole video. The cops, like, it escalated and they took him to jail. And all the bystanders are like, "Why are you taking him to jail? Because he didn't have an ID while he's riding a scooter." Like, this is crazy. So, like, I just think that it's tough shopping.
Is that a going to jail offense? Like, seriously.
No, but it gives the cops a reason to interrogate you and get you off their street.
And try to find a reason to put you.
During all the George Floyd stuff, there was a guy who used to be a prosecutor in the Minneapolis Police Department, and he was talking about, I can't remember what he said, what the crime was, but there was essentially like a bullshit charge that the Minneapolis police would use that essentially, like,
Yeah. I remember that. I'm trying to remember what the charge was.
But it was something so stupid, but it was just a reason for them to arrest you.
Yeah.
It wasn't an actual charge. But
like a seatbelt or something stupid.
Yeah. But it was like,
it was something that you basically can't even prove. It was like obstructing something.
Or, obstruction
like
of justice
or
something.
A rosary on the mirror or something.
Yeah. It's like obstructing a police investigation, which could be anything. It's like, it's like resisting arrest when you're not under arrest.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
But it was a charge that you could basically charge anyone with, and there's really no way to prove you weren't doing it.
Right.
So no matter what, it's going to be your word against the police officer.
So that's the part that gets me here with these police officers who are clearly, I want to say, like, being dramatic, being over the top, trying to find these people, get these people and find something to tag them for. It's 2020. Everybody and their mom has a video camera on their phone. You don't think that, you know, like you said, this is all on camera on Facebook. You don't think people aren't watching you, recording your every fucking move
But that's
right
the arrogance.
That's
of police. That is the arrogance. You know every
and
damn
you just
body.
don't care.
Right.
Think about this. That cop had his knee on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Hand in his pocket, looking right at the camera, smiling.
Right.
As this man is pleading for his life. He never looked down at George Floyd to see for any reason.
There's no humanity.
He stood there with his
that's not
hand
important to you.
in his pocket and stared at the camera, smiling.
Right.
In his heart, he knew, I'm not going to jail for this.
Right.
They can't put me down for this. I'm
What are you
wearing
gonna
blue.
do?
I'm wearing a badge.
Right.
And this particular cop has gotten away with this type of thing
He's
multiple
been
times before.
Yeah, he
like
was
8
involved
times, 6 or 8
like
times,
7 shootings, and one of those ended up another person that ended up dead.
And here's the other thing, because this is not just a black thing; it's a poor people thing. It's a I don't have a lot of money thing, right?
Thing for sure.
So when the police, where they do most of their dirt in poor neighborhoods where people don't have money and don't have a lot of education, so what happens when they harass you for jaywalking? What happens when they pull you over for walking while black, riding a scooter while black, driving while black, right?
Sure.
Normally, these people are just happy to leave with their lives, to not have been shot or beat by the police. So we go home, we tell a couple stories, everybody goes, you know, that's just how it is, and we move on about our lives.
Right.
What's going to happen when we start waking up and going, I'm going to call a lawyer?
Well, that's
when
what
we
they're
start
finding out now.
When we start suing, when we stop going home saying I can't afford a lawyer, and you realize, here's a pro tip, people. If you have a lawsuit, the lawyer will not charge you a dime.
Right.
He will let you know that when we win this case, I'm gonna take my percentage off the top.
Yep.
Right.
So we gonna sue them for $5 million. I'm gonna get 2.5. You gonna get 2.5. Sound good?
Great.
I'm doing all the work. You just sit there and I'll call you when it's over. That's how it works.
Yep.
You don't need a retainer.
No.
You don't need some super savings or whatever. If you lose the case, it's on the lawyer, not you.
But the thing is, lawyers don't lose those cases.
They don't.
No.
They take the cases they can win.
Right. And these cases don't even make it to like jury trials or anything.
No.
The lawyer walks in and be like, you fucked up.
Yep.
Here's all the proof you fucked up. Pay me.
But here-
And the thing is the negotiation of how much you're going to pay. It's
Right.
not whether or
Yeah.
not they did something wrong. It's well, how much do we think that wrong is worth?
Well, that's part of the problem, that you can pay to play, right?
Right.
Like these cops, they can pay out the settlements, they can admit they were wrong, they can say they're sorry.
But they don't even pay out. If the city pays out.
Yes. And then some unions make it against their contracts with the police departments to even release these officers' records in some states.
Right.
So you don't even know, like if you're getting a cop from New York and California, you don't know what their record might have been. And
But
it's all like top secret. And these cops can keep their jobs. Like I had a situation with the Equal Employment Opportunity Council that I thought they were there to like protect the people, make sure there's no racism or discrimination. No, they are there to negotiate a settlement between you and your employer,
Yes.
and that is all.
That's it.
So your employer can continue being racist and discriminate, and it doesn't like they can pay to play. I never knew that. I never knew that.
But here's the thing: if you get into too many car accidents, your insurance rates start going up, right?
Tell me about it.
So here's the thing: here's the problem. They kill one person, you know, like in Louisville, right? They haven't been killing people left and right. They killed Breonna Taylor, right?
Mhm.
They paid out $12 million. So they look at, okay, we paid out $12 million one time, right?
Unfortunate casualty.
Right. $12 million one time.
One life, no big
But
deal.
then, you know, there's a different police department somewhere else and they pay out, you know, 10 million or 5 million, right? Here's what happens. When the people of Louisville, every time they get done wrong, they start suing, all of a sudden, 200,000, 500,000, 1.2 million, another 750,000. All those charges start adding up.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, they little piggy banks, somebody's going to say, hey, we got to fix this.
Like the Minneapolis
because
Police
there's too many
Department.
people suing.
How is somebody not saying that already?
Well,
Because we ain't sued them enough.
I think they're
That's
trying
why.
to change laws. What's it called? Something immunity.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
punitive
no,
immunity
no,
or something.
it's,
I don't know what it's called, but it's something
Is it
immunity.
qualified
Yeah,
immunity?
they're trying
Right,
to pass
yeah.
laws to like take that away so that the cops can be liable.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's quite interesting. I didn't know, like you said, that some of the records of police officers are
Mm-hmm.
not of access. So how's that fair
It's
that
like a
you can
legal
just
gang.
right?
Right.
Like how's that fair? You can
It's
just
always-
run me in the system real quick, and my whole life pops up, but we can't get anything
And
about
here's
you.
the thing, like,
Yeah.
if you think about this, right, like, we have seen in movies and TV shows how these police act like gangs since as long as I can remember watching TV, right?
Yeah.
Right,
So this is
I got my brother in blue. I don't
Yeah,
have to ask any questions.
right.
You let me know.
this is not new 2020 or 2010 or 2000. This has been going on
Old school.
since the beginning of time. There's a lot of cases where like the cop would be the abusive person in the family and beating the woman, but she couldn't call the cops because his buddies would show up
Right.
and they'd be like, you shouldn't have did that,
Right.
you know? And then she gets beat for calling the cops because now he's embarrassed because his buddies came over there.
This is,
What
I
a
mean, this is
cycle.
why black people don't call the police now
Yeah.
because what's going to happen? Like, you know, I call them up saying somebody broke into my house. They show up and shoot me.
Right.
I mean, this is not some hypothetical scenario I'm making up. These things happen all the time. But now it took a whole pandemic for everybody to be off of work at home watching TV to finally
as
go,
fuck.
oh my God, police really are killing black people.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
but then there's still people who are just like, nah, it's few and far between. It doesn't really happen. He should have complied. I mean, the dude was in handcuffs. What more complying do you need, you know?
Right.
Having been one of those people, it's a very interesting experience to be like a part of these conversations and have the mindset that I do now, because like small town Griswold's white as white can get, you know, and
Yeah.
I mean, I might have been exposed to culture 10 times in my life, maybe there. And then I come here and it's just everybody of all different colors, all different races. And it blows my mind that like, I really did believe like, oh, racism is really old. Like, yeah, that's in the textbooks, guys. It's no big
Yeah.
deal. We all
Yeah.
love each other now. Oh, clearly I trust that police officer. Daddy always told me police officers will do the right thing. So clearly somebody's missing something in the media that man did, of course, you know, and now to be able to get out of that space and realize how many people are still in Connecticut that feel that way? How many people are in these small towns in little places not realizing what is going on in the rest of the world?
Right.
It's crazy to
crazy.
me.
Yeah.
It is. It's nuts, but you know.
Gotta
gonna
wake
do?
them somehow, but how?
I'm glad you're here because you and I got into an argument about this the first time. we
Ooh,
talked
okay.
about
More arguing, or did I decide with you at the end?
it. No, we argued about this.
Ooh, okay. Breaking the house.
Delonte West. You probably don't even remember, you won't even remember this argument, so I'll have to bring you up to date.
Don't let them know that I don't remember the names. That's disrespectful.
Look, Katrina. How many times has Katrina been on this show and I had to send her the address to the station today?
I'm on it all the time. And I just call them like, babe, I know I'm supposed to be there, but can you just text it to me? Because I can't this morning.
Delonte West, former NBA player. he was originally famous because he was a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he slept with LeBron James's mom. So LeBron wanted him off the team.
Wait, the Fountain Blue incident? That's
Yes.
him? I didn't realize that was the same guy because I was in Florida when all that happened.
Yeah, so that's Delonte West.
Wow.
It was this year, earlier this year.
I think
There's
so.
a video of him on the side of the highway, panhandling and acting crazy.
He's on drugs.
Yes, and the police actually got in trouble because they took the video of him.
The police released the video.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Yeah, they
was a while
took video.
ago.
Yeah, it was this year though because we were in this studio.
Definitely this year, but yeah.
And the police were they took the video and they with their cell phones and then posted to media, hey, Delonte West is down and out and he's crazy kind of thing. Yeah. And then they actually got in trouble for it because they shouldn't, like, they're not supposed to do stuff like that. And you and I argued about the mental health aspect. Because I said that somebody needs to help him. You said he should help himself. But when you're that far gone, you can't help yourself.
Yeah. Right. It's a really tough line to walk because, you know, mental health is clearly rising in the United States, probably in the world. And it's a hard topic for people who are in it and not in it to find a common ground. When it's your responsibility as a person with mental health to be aware of how you affect others and how you affect yourself. At some point, you have to take responsibility for your actions and ask for help. Take the help. Be a part of the help. If you aren't going to do any of those things, then you have to be that person.
But then there's people like him that get too far gone. He doesn't know that he needs help. He doesn't know that he's, for lack of a better term, crazy right now. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
And if there is, I don't know if there's drugs involved, but what came first, the mental problem or the drug problem?
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of times we see somebody, you know, you see right down here on 5th Street, you see people messed up talking to themselves, and are they on drugs or do they just have a mental issue or is it both?
Right.
You don't know that just from seeing somebody walking in circles talking to themselves.
Are they covering up one issue with the other?
Real quick, Steve named the only street in Vegas that doesn't exist.
5th Street. 3rd, 4th? No, 5th.
No, 3rd, 4th.
Las Vegas Boulevard is 5th
Street.
Street.
Yeah. Then it jumps to 6th.
It turns to 5th though when you going, because I get on it right on my house. It's 5th Street.
He's like the GPS.
I know there's a 5th Street. Like I know Las Vegas Boulevard is 5th Street. But when the homeless people are on the 5th Street part. Las Vegas Boulevard.
To circle back to this, the reasoning that I feel so differently on this topic, because I'm all about giving help to people with mental health. My problem is you didn't get here overnight. And not, like, you are a famous figure is what I'm going to use here. You're a famous figure. So you've had women in your life. You've had men in your life. Does he have children?
Yes, he does.
So you've had family and people in your life. You've had strangers in your life. Somebody during your time had to have reached out to you. Somebody.
That's a big assumption, though. Like to
get to the point where he is on that curb, looking the way he looked on the substances he did. You don't just do that.
The original story talked about his child's mother and how she tried to help him.
Exactly.
And she couldn't because he was too far gone already. Like, so she was trying to get him in places and help him. And
like maybe your rock bottom needs to be these police officers filming you, putting you on social media so that someone who is who meets the recommendations, to somebody who can actually help you, who has that skill set.
Well, see, that's why he's back in the news, is because that didn't stop. It happened again. And he was found on the street again. And
it's more than, I think it's mental health, yes, but I think a lot of times people carry stuff into adulthood from their childhood.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Or like maybe it's
Childhood
a lack of
trauma.
self-esteem, whatever the trauma is.
And a lot of people don't have a support system.
Correct. And when you're a ball player, everybody's like, yes, yes, yes. Like a lot of times when you're
You
paying
gotta
for
look
dinner
strong.
and you're paying for the bar tab, all
Nobody's
your
gonna
boys,
argue with you.
nobody's going to be like, maybe you should see a therapist. So like, pop a bottle.
Right.
So I think like whatever's wrong with him, it is mental health related for sure, but he probably has some trauma that he has to like resolve, which would, because people do drugs to not feel because they're going through traumatic pain or they're suffering and they don't want to feel that.
And generally, nobody's gonna pay attention to your problem until you go broke.
Right.
As long as you're buying dinners, as long as you're popping bottles. I'm not gonna be the guy to step in and stop that. I'm not gonna be like, look, bro, you need to get some help.
Dude, don't
because
be
what's more than likely, he's going to be like, you know what? You get out of here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
he's at the strip club buying out the entire VIP section.
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
like $70,000.
Like, you don't want this brick of money?
Right.
Give it back.
Right.
And this is where society really needs to understand that this is their role, that they are creating people like this. Because we live in a world where men cannot talk about their feelings.
Yeah.
We live in a world where men have suicidal thoughts and cannot open up to anyone. We live in a society where popping bottles is attractive, where throwing money around is sexy, where actually... I had a friend call me the other day. I called a friend the other day because I watched their Instagram and I was like, yo, he's playing a lot of slots. I don't know how I feel. Like, let me just check in on him. I called him. He was down like 7K and having the worst day of his life. He's like, I'm living in casinos. I'm bouncing back and forth. I can't keep doing this. So like you see these things and everybody's living on their high. We as society need to check in on these people. We need to not glorify all the things that they have going on and realize that these are calls for help. Otherwise, you end up on a curbside filmed by police officers acting out of your mind and nobody knows how you got there.
Well, I think Delonte is going to get help now, right?
Yeah.
Because Mark Cuban, they have a relationship. Delonte got traded from the Cavs to the Mavericks. So Mark Cuban owns the Dallas Mavericks, and he was the owner of the team when Delonte West was on the team. I think this is very classy of Mark Cuban. He didn't send somebody to the street to go get Delonte.
Yeah,
he got his car, went and got Delonte.
Powerful.
Yes.
Impacting.
Put him in his car.
I
was
care.
like, I'm taking you to get help right now. We're going to go work this out right now. Because, yes, me too. Like, and I'm a big Mark Cuban fan. I know a lot of people don't like some of his political stuff or whatever. I love him on Shark Tank. I'm a huge Shark Tank fan. And I love him on Shark Tank because I think he's the realest person on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everybody else kind of like, maybe Lori's a little real, but the rest of them kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, like Kevin, Mr.
Wonderful or whatever.
Like, I just believe he's full
So
of shit. Like,
annoying.
he's
Yeah.
right. Like, he's just so over the top, it
Yeah.
can't be real. But Mark Cuban is like,
Let me change your life. Let me help you. Let me put in a hand. I believe in you. I believe in what you got.
And he's a technology guy. And like when they have technology, he's like, you guys just don't understand. Like, this is valuable technology.
Right.
I'll buy it. You know, or like,
Yeah.
actually your technology is out of date and blah, blah. My guys are already 10 miles ahead
So
of
it's
this.
impacting for him to say, I'm putting my time and energy and I'm investing in you at your most broken.
Right. Then Daryl Strawberry reached out today and it was like, if you need any help, you're too
That's
young to know who Daryl
good.
Strawberry is.
Because he was on one back in the day,
Him
boy.
and Doc Gooden, boy.
Jeez.
So that's what I was going to say. The best case scenario that could happen here, like as a whole for everybody, is that, you know, obviously we want him to get better. Everybody here wants him to get the help that he needs. But even more than that, what if you can be the success story? What if you can now launch, you know, look at me. I was in my worst, at my low, and somebody stepped up and helped me. And now I'm here. If you need to talk, I'm here to listen.
What? I think even better than that, though, is if other people follow Mark Cuban.
Yes.
And decide, you know what? I don't have any issues. I don't have any real problems.
Right.
Like Mark Cuban's got problems. I mean, he got billionaire problems. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But he doesn't have like, where am I going to eat tomorrow? What are my kids going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you're looking at somebody at the polar opposite of that, a guy who's homeless, I mean, literally being laughed at by the police, right? Think about the impact this could have if other people in a financially set situation or just in a much better situation,
or in a mentally stable situation.
who are able to say, you know what, there's a lot of other guys who need some help.
Absolutely.
There are plenty of basketball players who have gone broke.
I was just gonna say it's an NBA problem,
right?
It's an NBA problem.
It's not just that they've gone broke because they have bad money managing skills. That could have been the case with some. But a lot of them had no guidance.
Right.
From the time you're 10 years old, you're told, and even younger, you're told you're going to the NBA, you're going to the NBA.
Right.
And then you go, and then you get a 19, 20, 21-year-old.
Now
You
you
get
got all these
millions
stacks
of
of money.
dollars. Nobody's teaching you anything about money and financial literacy. And then you go broke. Mentally, bro, I ain't never been a millionaire. But when I've gotten down to my last, mentally, it's tough. It's stressful.
Absolutely.
You know what I
Especially
mean?
when
And you're
used
supposed to front. You know, I got $0 in my bank
I'm
account, and
good.
I'm still supposed to pop bottles at the club.
I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Back in
Fine.
my,
you know?
back in my early radio days, I had a GM. His name was Ed, and I can't think of his wife's name to save my life. But she had a company, and her contract with the NBA was that everybody who signed a rookie contract had to come take her weekend class on how to all of a sudden be rich.
Oh,
Right,
That's,
yeah.
that's
Like,
really good.
it was like
That's
a
an
2-day
awesome
thing or a
resource.
3-day seminar or something that she taught, and her company taught, which was basically, your friends aren't here for you. They're
Right.
here for your money. Like, you need
How to budget it.
right. You like, and back then, you know, like, this was in the 90s, so like, $2 million was a good NBA contract for rookies.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, all right, you only have $2 million. You may not get a second contract. So
blow
what
only 5%,
right.
put 10% in the bank.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, like what are you going to do with this $2 million over that time? And I'm assuming they probably still have something like that.
Yeah.
But she would just say
Clearly
that
not
like
used enough though.
the problem is the guys come in there and they've been told they're the greatest thing all their lives.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't
It's
really
a
care.
joke. They don't take it serious. Like
Right.
when
I'm not
they're
going to
in
get a second
college.
contract. Who?
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
When you see that $2 million check,
That's gotta be wild.
and you put it in the bank, and it's like, wow, $2 million, right? You don't realize 40% is going to taxes, bro.
Right.
They didn't take taxes out of
Yeah.
the check a lot of times.
I didn't even think of
It's a
that.
contract check. You got to pay taxes on the back end, right?
But I think that these sports organizations, all of them, not just the NBA, they should create sustainable career paths for the athletes if they get injured or if they are no longer playing or they're retiring, because a lot of these athletes, especially with the women players more so than the guys, what do they do after the WNBA? They've been
Yeah.
playing till they're like 35, 40. Then what do they do?
Nothing.
There's right.
And WNBA players make $100,000 a year. Like,
Exactly.
they don't make
Right.
That's
like
what I'm saying. But
they're
like,
just making a good living.
But
They're
I
not
think
even-
that these organizations, whether it's the NFL, NBA, WNBA, they need to take care of their players before,
But-
after, and during. They can't just like let them go and be like, okay,
how
bye.
much of that
GLGL.
though, but how much of that is the organization's fault and how much of that falls on the player? Right? Like how
Right,
much of that
right,
falls
right.
on like Elton Brand was
Apart.
a good basketball player, but like he knew after his career he wanted to be in the front office.
right.
Right? Like so he got the education to go on, and now is he the GM or the vice president of the 76ers? He just hired Doc Rivers the other day. But what's that? He's a GM. So like he took that initiative himself, right? So how much of it is on the player? Like there are players
Right, you're
who
right.
know that I can't play for ever. Like Eric Bieniemy was a great college running back. He was in the NFL, but
Right.
now he's a great coach. Yeah, he's
Right.
he's the offensive coordinator for Kansas City. Like, but he took the initiative to say, okay, I know I'm not going to be able to play forever. What am I
Right.
going to do after that? Right?
Right.
Can I coach?
I think a huge part of that has to fall on the player. I think the organizations can do more, but I have to. At some point, you kind of have to compare it to even a regular job. If you
Right.
take a job and you're making 100, 200 grand a year, is it really your boss's job or somebody in that company's job to say, "Hey, bro, you need to be saving money"?
They offer
You know what I'm saying?
They
Or,
offer you the
hey,
401k
bro, like,
option. You know
I mean,
what
right? You know what
They
I mean? You
offer
get a
it to you. They give
401k
you
and
the
those
program.
things, so it's
but
like
you don't have to take it.
Right. If you don't take
Right,
it, my boss
so-
isn't coming up to me say, Trina, you didn't put in a 401k. You sure that you're living the life the way that you should
Right,
be?
so-
You want to rethink
Right.
this?
So
No.
we think, 40 years when you're 60 and whatnot, and it's time to retire, you didn't save any money. I mean, that's on you, you know?
Right.
Basketball player, I mean, they're lucky if they're playing at 40, but, 20-year career, whatever, you retire.
Right.
And then what? What do you do? It's on you. You didn't, in this 20 years, you didn't save nothing?
Nothing.
You bought out the whole time? You know what I mean? So, but-
Hakkasan's got all your money.
all of it.
so-
All of it.
You made every stripper in LA rich.
Bottle service be like, hey.
right.
I would like to circle back real quick to something that you said, that society needs to be more Mark Cubans, that we should
Yeah.
see more people like that. And I'm going to put my little hippie soul on the screen real quick for you guys. You don't have to have the money or the mentality that Mark Cuban has to make a difference in somebody's experience, especially with mental health. You
Yeah.
just need to be a person. You just need to be a voice and to witness what other people are experiencing and check in. Not everyone is going to take your opportunity to extend your hand for the help, but the people who do, what if just one person takes that hand? What if that one message is the difference that I can get up today and do something different? You don't have
Right.
to have multi-millions. You don't have to save the entire world. But if we just collectively took a look at everybody around us and realized, look at the fucking world we're in
We
right
just don't
now.
have to be selfish anymore.
Right.
You
Right?
don't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to be
yeah.
selfish, and you don't have to be alone. COVID has put a lot of people in the feeling that they are alone, helpless, broke, with nothing to their side. We are people. We are
Right.
here as a
Yeah.
group of collective people, and we can make a difference in other people's lives.
I'm grateful
So that's my little
because
hippie heart.
I have really good friends.
Amen.
But I'll post something on Facebook sometimes, not because it's necessarily what I'm feeling, because I feel like somebody else might need to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'll get texts.
Absolutely.
People will jump into my message and be like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm good. Thank you. I
No, they
appreciate
think
the
you're
fact."
Thank you for
subtweeting,
checking.
Right.
subposting.
Like, am I
Yeah.
going to commit suicide? No, I'm fine. I
right.
just posted that for something Somebody else might need to see that.
And I've been that person who's texted you and been like, hey, I needed to see this today.
Right.
I am in a great mental state, but you know what? I needed a reminder that that's where I need to be today.
I have never needed a job. I've been in Vegas since 2006. Every time I've either quit a job or got laid off or fired or whatever happened, I jump on Facebook. Hey, anybody know anybody hiring? My DMs get flooded.
Yeah.
And part of that is because clearly I'm not a douchebag, right? I'm a fairly decent guy, so people kind of like me a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, thankful that there are people, because those people make a difference. I get people who say, hey, you want to work over here? I know the manager. I'll send them an email right now. I've gotten plenty of jobs just off the strength of that. You know, somebody the job I just quit, right? Was because Dallas knew the guy, and I was like, you need another dealer? And we walked in there together. Hey, this is my friend Steve, yada, yada, shook a hand. Boom, I was working.
And like you said, thankful. If you have something to be thankful for today, you have something you have something more than somebody else has. If you have something to be thankful, a job, a house, maybe a person, maybe a spouse, maybe a support system, you have something more than other people have. And you should be willing to try to give that to other people or see people who don't have it and extend that hand.
Speaking of having more than other people have.
Oh, that is a great segue, my friend. I'm impressed. Hold on, let me pull it up. Go ahead.
Hey.
So Natalia,
I have not seen it yet. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah.
Hey.
You went to what did you do this weekend? It was a women's empowerment summit or something like that?
Yes, but it was called Bitches, Blunts, and Brunch.
What? How was I not involved?
So shout out to my
invite next time.
Shout out to my girl Jessica J Rose invited me out. Wow. Yeah, she invited me out to this female empowerment brunch, and it was like advertised as like a safe space for women to like enjoy cannabis and have some brunch and some girl time. So we went, and it was like a house party, and there was a DJ, socially distanced. We were outside. But like they, it was kind of like they had bottle service and like, staff, and it was fun. And they had tickets, and you'd get your J's and you get your mimosas. And there was like no guys in our face, like being annoying. So like it was a nice time for women to hang out. And since it was a female driven event, the host had some party games. And I was like, damn, this is like a weed bachelorette party. So one of the party games, they were like, we're going to give out a bong for the best dick pic. So like all the married women were like, well, shit, we ain't got one. And then all the single girls are like, look, I got one. So then all the girls posted up their phones, and one of the girls won a bong because she had the best dick pic. But it was so fun being in a safe space with all these women just like having fun.
Dick pic,
girl.
Yeah, can you give me a list? I got black and white once, and I was a big fan of that.
Yeah, no, girl. Let me.
So Tyga.
Yes. So back to
the dick pic.
Tyga decided to leak his genital photos.
Yes.
Wow.
And you said this was the talk of the...
It was because when we started playing the dick pic game, then we all started talking about Tyga's pic going viral over the weekend because he did post it, and he started an OnlyFans. And I mean, it is impressive. It is impressive.
So, can I get your...
Hold on, let me show you.
Wow.
Hold on. I'm
going to answer this for Trina to begin with. And as soon as Natalia sent me this article, the first thing I thought about was we were playing laser tag. And it was the time that creepy cowboy dude was there.
Oh, creepy cowboy dude ruined my laser tag time.
But we're sitting around, like, I don't know how we came up on the subject. And we're sitting around, and Trina goes, I don't like big penises.
Oh, but you don't have to put me on blast.
This conversation went a whole different direction.
Okay, let me reframe that real quick.
Wait, you ready?
Oh, damn.
Right.
Damn.
Right.
So, yeah, that's too much for me. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Since we're here, we're going to talk about it. Listen, you're going to be repeatedly pounded by that your whole life.
One day.
I'm tired. It's going to be too much. My throat hurts. I'm a champ, but like, whew.
One day you might have a baby.
and that baby gonna be 10 pounds, and that baby is nothing compared to that thing right there. So
might be
men
true.
think that their size matters. It doesn't. We can push out little humans. Like I had a 9-pound human. That's
I was
a
gonna
lot
say
bigger.
my youngest son was 10 pounds. Like, no. Like,
Putting me on blast today.
completely check your
Welcome to the
manhood.
Trina show.
when you see a woman push out a 10-pound baby, completely checks your manhood at that point. You're
Right. You're like, oh, I'm not too big.
I was gonna say, I guess maybe at that point you're thankful that now you're gonna have a dick that's gonna fit in you the rest of your time. I now understand this mentality. However, those X amount of years up into baby, I
Right.
just can't take it.
Sorry. Shout out
me
to
on
the
blast.
bitches, blunts, and brunch.
Loving that. So, bringing this out of Trina and back to the conversation, I would like to get feedback on how you feel. How would this look if this was a woman? I've leaked my own photos before. I'll own it. But like, what if a celebrity woman leaked her own photos, created her OnlyFans? How much shit do you think she'd be getting? How much backlash you hold?
somebody else.
Jordan Woods did it
Yeah,
today.
Jordan Woods did it, and then somebody else did it this week too.
Suki Hana, she's a
Suki
rapper from
Hana,
Miami.
yeah, but there was Trina did it too.
Her video was gross. Suki Hana, forget it. I don't even want to tell
See,
the story.
I think like even
it was nasty.
even since like even before the Kardashians, but women have been leaking their own photos and having people steal their photos ever since cell phones got cameras in them.
It's a tale as old as time.
It happens
To be
because
fair,
right.
like we put a lot of work into what we do. I don't know what you guys think happens out here. I'm just gonna rephrase, like give you guys a real quick recap. We spend at least an hour taking multiple angled pictures to then send you like one or two of the top tier.
But see, but here's the thing. Guys don't even care.
They don't.
You could send.
It could be fuzzy and blurry.
And this is the thing that I think women don't get. Maybe some do, but I feel like a lot don't. And we talk about this like when we say like when women put on these long eyelashes and dye their hair these colors and all this stuff. And it's like as a woman, you're allowed to do that. You're doing it for you, great. But guess what? I don't care. Like if a guy says, send me a selfie, you can pick your phone up, take one pic. You could be cockeyed, have snot running down your nose and whatever else and green salad in between your teeth. And you send it to him and he's going to be like, damn, baby, you sexy.
I don't know what kind of women you're into, Steve, but I do not react like that if a girl sends me a tore up picture like that.
Thank you for being real, Quan. Thank you.
They're good news.
Give me your bad bitch pictures, baby.
I'm not saying guys don't appreciate it, but the point I'm making is you don't need to take 30 of them. Take
but also you should
3.
appreciate the fact that this is like what we are trying to do for you. We want you to get like
we just know we got a
solid
picture.
content.
We don't know it took you 3 hours to make that one picture.
That's why I'm letting you guys know.
Right. I think women dress for women. Women do makeup for women.
Right.
Like they'll be like, girl, you got cute lip gloss or nice shoes.
Right.
Or,
But see, I say that all the time, that women put more pressure on women than men put on women.
Absolutely.
100%.
Because men,
Right.
If you go out with me, Collins knows this, I compliment at least 3 to 5 people every day. If I walk by and I like your outfit, I think you're beautiful, whatever. Especially when I go out on club nights, and you will see how many women are receptive to this. I'll stop and be like, girl, your eyelashes look great. I see you. I see that you took time to put those eyelashes on, and I respect that. I see it from you.
Yeah.
You know how much they light up? Because
I
you know
love
what?
girls
Those,
like that.
Those
Of course,
eyelashes
of
took her 20
course.
minutes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
whether you appreciate it or not, she put them on and put the time and effort. It's nice to be appreciated for the things you do, whether you did them for someone or not.
let me
And
ask
that's
you.
what I'm saying. It's fine. I get it. But I'm just saying, as a guy, I probably ain't going to notice. I'm going to probably look at your eyelashes and go, why you got these long ass eyelashes on? What's wrong with your
Yeah,
face?
why do women wear eyelashes that can shade like 5 people?
Yeah, I don't have it.
You know why?
You need a breeze here.
It looks good in
Snuffle up
pictures.
against.
It's because it looks good. No, I'm dead ass. That's why. Because it looks good in pictures. Because we're such a like an Instagram photo filter generation that people want to look as good without the filter as you do with the filter. And when you take that many pictures with the filter, you get a little confused.
So honestly,
We're confused. We're confused. Because this is not the same picture.
I took a picture one day and I showed my best friend, right? I'm with my best friend. I showed her. I go, Farrah, damn, I'm looking good, girl. Look at it. She goes, that's you?
she's like, I snapped you.
I was like, yeah, that's me. I made my lips bigger, put my eyes blue.
It's funny because I have a friend who went on a Tinder date recently, and I guess like the guy used to work at Bellagio, so like she's like, oh, do you know Dallas? And he's like, oh yeah. But she was commenting to me that the picture that he put on Tinder had to be at least 7 or 8 years old. Then she's like, he doesn't
There
look like
should be a
that.
cap.
Right, right.
Most recent must be less.
Like a verification, a selfie verification or something.
Right.
Yeah.
how much of your time? How do I put this? Because I just think this is ridiculous. But I understand it. No.
Or are you moving to a new topic?
New topic. Okay. So Dr. Dre is getting divorced.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long they were married.
A long time, like 20 years or something.
20 something.
Okay.
Maybe close to 30.
And I understand the whole idea that for sure your children are entitled to the life that they've been accustomed to.
I don't like where this is going.
Well,
but I'm listening.
Hey, car's gassed up. We riding.
Today's show is great.
And again, $2 million a month?
Yes. Her phone bill is $200,000 a month.
No, her phone bill is her phone bill is 20. No, it's 20,000. How damn phone service do you have?
Verizon does unlimited
for like $100 a month.
She probably got that like concierge rich people phone that like it's like made out of gold and calls
gold,
like you know what I'm talking about.
$20,000 a month for a cell phone bill.
You have to downsize, baby.
I'm actually okay with the $125,000 a month that she wants to donate to charity. Mm-hmm. And she lowered the request from $2 million to $1.5 million. And part of the reason was that she wants her own security. But so apparently Dre was paying for her security, and he agreed to pay. But he was like, "I'll pay for it." But she was like, "No,"
because then they're his guys. She don't want his
That's
guys
what she's
around.
saying,
Yeah.
right? That like they're reporting back to him everything she's doing, and I kind of get that too.
Yeah.
But the judge said no.
Interesting.
He didn't give her any of it.
I think that's not fair because when you're talking about Dr. Dre, even though 1 or 2 million sounds like a lot, he's worth $1 billion.
Right.
So that's nothing. You know what I mean? So if you look at it, if you break it down, this woman, his wife, is going to go from an income of a billionaire to $12 million a year. $12 million. I know it sounds like a lot for a lot to normal people, but like to celebrities, $12 million ain't shit. So,
but are you a celebrity still or not?
She never was a celebrity.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. So, are you entitled to that money as well?
She was
Yes.
never a celebrity, but here's the thing you have to understand. So, when you're married and you build an empire, and you're married, they're gonna look at this married person at least contributing, making sandwiches in the morning,
That's
raising kids, whatever, right?
But
so
imagine you give 20 years to some dude and he cheats on you. You gonna take every cent.
I would 100% be in that scenario.
Cent.
I'm just trying to understand a little bit where reality.
So they ask for it's the same thing you do in any case,
right?
You're trying to in
start
essence
high and end where you need to be.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Of course, her cell phone shouldn't be $20,000 a month, but to get the total to where she wants it to be. Right. All of a sudden, she's eating off gold plates. Right. You know, she's got $1 million driver. She needs, 13 security guards operating around the clock. I mean,
but if he's a billionaire, their mortgage alone is probably $1 million a month. You know what I'm saying? That's not nothing.
But part
for her.
of this is though that like he's already agreed to pay for all of her expenses. She wants $2 million or more per month.
Yeah, she gave him her life. Money. She had
Do you
kids.
think that would be in regards to the fact that if he says he's going to cover everything and then all of a sudden doesn't? You know
like he can't like
once
he
can't back out.
Something he can renege on?
Once he says it in court and they put it in paper, he doesn't get to be like, "Oh, I changed my mind tomorrow," because he's agreed to pay all. And again, her point was that he threatened to fire the security if they disobeyed his orders. And I actually get that because Dre has a reputation, right? Before her, there was Michelle A.
Come on now, let's talk about it.
He's going upside some heads before.
Yeah, he used to beat her up, and like she was very upset that like even in the movie Straight Outta Compton, that they made him look like a better person.
Even the reporter he beat up too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like so, like he has a problem of beating up women. Like this is not a new, and we don't know. Like she's never made any claims or reports of that. You're right.
Right.
And. Is she divorcing him because he cheated, or do we like?
Supposedly that's what it is. It's infidelity because I was looking. I think of like media takeout, and there was like pictures of him with girls, and they were like outing him. And
let me ask you a question though. Like, and I'm kind of.
I know the question you're gonna ask. Go ahead. Because I love this question.
You're married to a billionaire. Mm-hmm. Is there a certain amount you'll take?
What do you mean?
Everybody's got a number.
Cheat?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a number.
Because if you're gonna take shit from a broke guy, you might as well take it from a billionaire. Exactly. Either way, you're doing their damn laundry.
Exactly.
I'd rather have somebody pay to do the laundry.
Right.
You're gonna do it anyway. Yeah. Give me some money.
That's what I'm saying. Like we see this all the time with like professional athletes, right? Yeah. Where like their wives just know that when they go from Kansas City to New England to play a football game, they got their side hoe that comes with them on the road. And a lot of wives are okay with it because they just really don't want to be bothered.
I think I can't remember who it was. Somebody's wife was famous for saying like, you know, dude,
I was trying to remember who it was.
Just
right.
don't embarrass me. Basically.
Right.
Smart. I feel like
So-
when you
That's old
enter
school.
a relationship
Yeah.
in general, it comes with pros and cons and things that are important to you. My relationship, your relationship, I'm going to want different things than you're going to want. I'm going to accept different things than you are. So when these women balance out the pros and cons, the fact that they have a secure life, they have time to be with their children, they've got money, you know.
Their families are probably taken care of. They probably
right.
pay their mom's house and
Exactly.
their grandma.
There's this
and-
whole
that
culture.
sexuality doesn't hold high enough on their priority list towards everything else. And if you're okay with that choice, do you, girl?
And it's also, I think, a personal thing where it's, you know, what's a deal breaker to you?
Exactly.
Because to some
Absolutely.
people, infidelity is a deal breaker, right? Like it's
Right.
over. If you ever cheat on me, it's over.
No
To some
conversation, no
people,
nothing, sign the
it's just,
papers.
you know, just don't punch me in the face. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
It's just,
Yeah.
it just
And
depends on
come
the
home
person,
before
I
the
think.
sun goes down.
Yeah,
right,
Shit
right,
like that.
right.
Old school nonsense.
But there's this whole subculture of superheads. You're probably too young.
And that's the
Superhead.
problem. You're
Superhead
right. The
is the
Selena
original-
Powell's.
Is the
Yeah.
original vixen. Like she wrote a
Yeah.
book.
What's a vixen?
So
Oh man, but there's not enough time.
essentially
We'll tell you after the
Educate
show.
me.
she's a high priced hoe. Like
Hey, we're not gonna slut shame on this show. She was a video.
Is a high price
By definition.
No.
by definition though,
She's a whore.
yes.
I mean,
like she essentially had all these affairs with rappers and professional athletes,
Okay.
Yeah.
and they paid
she
her
was-
big money to. And what it was just don't say. Here's $100,000. Don't say anything.
Oh, okay.
right. But
Yeah,
then
yeah,
she wrote
yeah.
a book about it in the early 2000s before
Yeah.
like sex tape and all that was popular. So she was like the one that outed all these rappers. Like even Jay-Z was in her book. I read her book. And she outed all these rappers for like being her sugar daddy
Yeah.
and paying
Yeah.
for all
She
this stuff.
made
and,
millions.
Yeah.
Off
Like,
the book.
And they
No,
called her
no, not-
Superhead.
no.
Right, no, like
They called her Superhead in rap songs.
Oh,
Right.
Superhead.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Like the head's so
I get
super,
it.
they call her
Yeah,
Superhead.
Superhead,
Yeah, got it.
Something-
My head
something
make voice
that.
like
Yeah.
you fall in love. I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like she had
I like
a
this
whole
girl.
she had her whole harem of
Yes.
rich men, athletes, rappers, that she would just essentially bounce around towns,
Yeah.
you know, have sex
Yeah,
with them
yeah.
and get
Right.
here's some
your
cash.
check.
I mean, I think she's still.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise
She
me.
is.
getting it in.
Yeah.
So then she was slut shamed for all of this?
No,
Yes,
well,
she was
well-
initially. Yes,
Yeah,
the
but I
industry
think that-
definitely backlash. It was not cool to have WAP back then.
It
So
was.
she definitely got bashed.
But I
It was,
feel part
and it
of
was
it, though,
more
was-
of she wrote a book and was snitching on everybody.
Right. She put
Right.
everybody
Yeah.
on
Like,
blast.
we
It was like,
paid.
nah.
This is why we paid you to be
Like,
quiet,
yeah.
and
Right.
she came
The show's
out.
already
Yeah.
over?
That's like
So fast.
like Charlie Sheen says, I don't pay hookers for sex. I pay them to leave afterwards.
On that note,
Put me down. He ain't wrong.
Hey.
This is Negro Please. I'm Dallas Scott, Trina, Natalia Hernandez, Hollywood Huff, Quan, the producer. We'll be back next Monday, 5 p.m. Check us out on all of our socials, The Negro Please. Thank you guys very much for checking in this week.
Hope you guys had as much fun as me.